Hello Happy World, it's General Van. Siblings in fiction are interesting due to the dynamic those siblings can have based on personalities, actions, and how close they are with each other. As a huge anime fan myself, some of my favorite sibling dynamics include the well-known Sasuke Itachi Uchiha Revenge and Redemption plotline from Naruto, the amazing journey of Edward and Alphonse Elric in search for a way to get the latter's body back in Fullmetal Alchemist, and Killua Zoldyck being the only one to understand Aluka while the rest of the family locked her away in Hunter x Hunter, as well as two of his brothers working for the Phantom Troop, the main villain organization of the series. Others include Rin and Yukio Okumura from Blue Exorcist, and because I love Data Live so much, Kaguya and Yuzuru Yamai. Video games have no shortage of this either, with some of my favorites being Cecil and Golbez from Final Fantasy IV, and Sayo and Hina Hikawa from Bang Dream Girls Band Party, a game that you should all play by the way, it's really good. And for those that know of the latter's relationship, keep that in mind for the rest of the video. Fire Emblem has no shortage of siblings either. I mean, there is an archetype based around 3 Pegasus Knight sisters, and Fates is essentially Fire Emblem family feud. Perhaps my favorite dynamic of siblings in the series is that of Luthier and Delthea from Fire Emblem Gaiden / Echo Shadows of Valentia, the latter apparently being my favorite Fire Emblem game for whatever reason. What makes Luthier and Delthea's relationship more interesting to me than others is something that not only Sayo and Hina, as previously mentioned, deal with, but also something that I've dealt with personally. The talented versus the untalented sibling, and how both parties deal with such a difference in ability, and judging by my streams, it's kind of obvious which category I fall into. Luthier and Delthea are brother and sister who are also descendants of a very powerful mage, so naturally they both have an inkling towards magic. One would think that Luthier is the far superior mage due to him being nearly 10 years older than Delthea, which in turn means more experience, right? However, this isn't the case. Delthea is much more talented than Luthier is, and despite not taking it as seriously as she should, far outclasses him despite all the effort and hard work the older brother puts in. Her magic is so potent that Tadara, I hope I said that right, sought her out in order to guard the floodgates between Zofia and Rigel. The difference in magic ability is evident in their overall utility as units as well, in Echoes at least, because that's the one I played. I haven't played Gaiden yet. As, aside from being a glass cannon coming in much later than Luthier, Delthea outclasses them in pretty much every way imaginable. The difference in natural ability is also reflected in their personalities and supports. Delthea is a cheerful and happy young girl who just wants to have fun, but also a girl that knows how talented she is at magic. And believe me, she knows, evidenced by her and Luthier's B support, where Luthier is trying to lecture her about rushing into battle and wielding her magic without worry, and she states that it isn't her fault that people around her have to work twice as hard and not even be close to her skill level. He tells her that he doesn't lecture her like this because he hates her, but rather he just wants her to be loved by all, and he loves her himself. Which Delthea retorts that he needs to look at himself before giving advice on how to be loved by others. Oof, what a burn. This brings us to Luthier's personality, which is a complete 180 compared to Delthea's. While Delthea is a bright and bubbly, albeit a bit selfish girl, Luthier isn't so much rude, more so very socially inept. This is due to him acknowledging his lack of natural ability in magic and focusing all of his attention, I mean all of his attention, on perfecting said magic. His focus on magic is so extreme to the point that his only friend in his village is a cat. But I mean, are cats really bad though? Cat gang for life. With Alm eventually being his first real friend, and because of his social awkwardness, he even had to ask Alm if they were actually friends. Magic is so ingrained in his mind that he literally has nothing else to talk about. Can you imagine just having someone be good at, let's say, soccer, and that's literally all they know? That's essentially what a Luthier is. This is actually brought up in Luthier and Delthea's A support, so to teach him about compliments, she asks him if she is his amazingly talented and all-powerful omnipotent sister, to which he naturally replies yes. This confuses him and wonders if this is what people actually talk about. Essentially, the main parts of their personalities are cheerful yet selfish and aware of natural skill versus isolation and social ineptitude as a result of trying to play catch-up. One could even say that Luthier has an inferiority complex because of Delthea and regularly compares himself to her. Growing up with a younger brother who was a good artist and better at every sport than you, although I was better at gaming and martial arts, yeet. I've dealt with this complex, and it's not a good feeling knowing that your brother or sister is more naturally gifted than you, especially when you're the older sibling. That's kind of an extra kick in the teeth. A theme that is also present with Sayo and Hina, who are actually the inspiration for this video. It's not healthy to compare yourself to someone more gifted than you unless you use it as inspiration, actively better yourself, so long as you don't go to extreme lengths to do it, as is the case with Luthier. But this doesn't mean that both don't love each other. Actually, this is quite the opposite. Luthier makes it obvious that he loves her, as he tells her this in their supports and desperately wanted to save her when she was brainwashed. Delthea, on the other hand, makes it a bit more subtle. In her support with Claire, Delthea tells Claire how attractive and cool and awesome Clive is, to which Claire agrees. Claire loves her brother. Delthea then states that she wishes her own brother would be like that, but Claire says that Luthier is pretty interesting in his own right. In their A support, Claire tells Delthea that she met Luthier and now understands why she may be horrified of sharing the same blood as him. This kind of gets under Delthea's skin, as Delthea does something a little unexpected, as she says that while he is weird and definitely marches to the beat of his own drum, he also makes it a point to try and help people in need, despite his efforts being in vain, again due to his lack of natural ability in magic. She also says that she isn't horrified of sharing his blood and doesn't hate him despite probably giving off that impression at first. Claire agrees and actually reveals that she actually just wanted Delthea to admit that she loves her brother as much as Claire does Clive. Both siblings love each other despite the difference in natural ability. They both love and support each other even though they have their own unique way of doing so. Probably the most bizarre part about this whole dynamic is the ending of each sibling. Despite being so naturally talented to the point that she is the only mage aside from Celica to be able to use Ragnarok, she decides to seal her magic away and live happily married just like a normal girl, really. This also goes in tandem with the theme of naturally talented people never living up to their potential simply because they just simply lost interest in their talent, or they just feel too much pressure by their parents, peers, or anybody else in order to perform at that maximum level of their potential. Her love for her brother is also evident in her ending, as she would liven up her village with stories of her brother whenever she visited. Luthier's ending is a bit more complex and arguably sadder. Being aware of his lack of skill in magic, Luthier decided to travel across the sea, though what he actually did was unclear. It's more than likely he was trying to either find a way to better his own magic or to help people in need due to Alm's heroic personality influencing him. Although all of this may have been for naught, as Valentia was then met with an influx of angry ruffians who wanted nothing more than to kick his ass, implying that his efforts to help people just ended up making things worse. It could also mean that his social ineptitude rubbed people the wrong way and came off as abrasive despite not meaning to, which in turn pissed quite a few people off. After that, it's unclear if he ever became good at magic, but it's unlikely that he did, which is regrettable to say because I always love seeing hardworking individuals finally succeed and surpass more naturally gifted people who don't work nearly as hard. But despite all this, despite all their differences in skill, age, Luthier and Delthea are brother and sister that love each other deep down and will do anything to support the other. They have their own unique ways of showing it, but they do love each other and will do anything for the other. Growing up with a more talented younger brother, I understand both sides of the spectrum. I can heavily relate to Luthier's feelings of inferiority and great desire to better his own skills, as well as kind of understanding where Delthea is coming from, as her natural ability can sometimes get to her own head, which leads her to making rash decisions as seen in their supports. I love the dynamic of Luthier and Delthea, and it's possibly my favorite sibling relationship of any Fire Emblem game, as it not only reflects my experiences growing up, but also a lot of people who compare themselves to other people who are maybe more skilled or naturally talented than them, and also struggle with these feelings of inferiority. A lot of the things I mentioned in this video about Luthier could also be applied to Takumi, but I'll save that for another day. Thank you all so much for watching. This video was really fun to make, as not only did I get to talk about my favorite sibling relationship in Fire Emblem, but also sort of my experiences growing up as well. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like this content. Let's get to 200 subscribers. At 500 subscribers, I'll make a Discord where you guys can make fun of me all you want. And at 1,000 subscribers, maybe we'll even get a face reveal from yours truly. Ho ho. Ooh, can't wait for that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, be sure to play Bang Dream Girls Band Party because it's a really great game. You should all play it, and I'll see you all next time. Peace, have a great day.